house always wins. Play long enough, you never change the stakes, the house takes you. Unless, when that perfect hand comes along, you bet big, and then you take the house. Been practicing this good. A little bit. Did I rush it? Felt like I rushed.
That was good. I liked it.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Big Easy Bets podcast. I'm your host, Logan, and with me in the studio, Nick Von Brick.
Hey.
With us on the ones and twos, Joseph Ascani.
What's up?
College football week 8, NFL week 7. We got a lot to break down, a lot to go over. We got steamrolled last week. We'll just get out in front of it like a politician with some bad news. You gotta face it head on. I had my worst week of the year, without question. You didn't really have that bad of a week. It seemed like it was worse at the time. Like, it seemed like we were in it together. Turns out we weren't. We're going to go over a few things, go over the Saints game. We're back from our Houston trip, which was a debacle of a game. The Saints stink. It's just the world we live in now currently. And then a couple other things to touch on, and then we're going to try to get back on track. How do you feel? We're 8 weeks into the college football slate. What are your thoughts? What's your or 7 weeks in?
It can only get better.
Yeah.
It's gonna get better.
You swear?
Yeah.
Okay. How did you do? Where are you sitting at?
Overall?
Yeah.
16 and 11.
How'd you do last week?
1 and 2.
Yeah, there's no secret. It was a bad week.
Yeah.
Typically, I do well when we go on the road. This year, I did not. Every time I checked my phone, I lost more money. So put a little damper. But stop what you're doing right now. Hit subscribe. Big Easy Bets TV on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You can follow us on all social media. Nick which was on YouTube as well, but he also put out on, actually no, just YouTube.
Exclusively on YouTube.
Exclusively on YouTube. Bricks Picks dropped Saturday morning. It was one of the few winners we hit on Saturday. LSU minus 11.5. Never a doubt. So last episode, I felt like I had to get rid of this curse that was bestowed upon me. So I ripped up the Saints ticket and felt like I was doing something good there. Turns out I wasn't. Turns out it was bad. It was the wrong decision, and I'm sorry to whichever gambling god it upset. I taped it back together. So I'm trying to right any of the wrongs that I made, and it's about as good of a tape job as it's going to get because I ripped it up and I counted them 16 pieces. So there you go. Mulligan. Never should have done it. I apologize. Go ahead and stick that under the Saints helmet right there.
I would have burned it.
Yeah, well, we're going to try this first and hope that this gets us back on track. It's a memento. Never should have done it. I made a big mistake. Won't do it again. I do find it funny, though. I'm used to it by now. Like, back in the day, I used to get, like, aggravated. It never fails. Somebody will comment. Like, somebody commented, or you'll get messages. They're like, hey, Cincinnati lost. Yeah, I know. Like, what are you, my fucking bank? What are you, Capital One? Hey, you lost money. That's like you just got hit by a car, and somebody's like, buddy, you just got ran over by a Civic. It's like, yeah, I know they lost. Trust me, I know. I lost my ass. My legs are gone. It's like, I don't think you're going to be able to walk. Yeah, I know. It always happens. Like, He said Cincinnati, thumbs down. I said, you're right about that. You are fucking right about that. But the good news is I fucking hate the board this week. So that's got to be a good thing. I loved the board last week. I lost my ass. So I hate the board this week. Don't like a single pick that I have. I wouldn't take a single one of them if I were anybody listening right now because I don't know anything. And that's why I'm going to get them. So.
Do with that what you will.
Yeah, make your own decisions. Yeah, so the Saints stink. We lost to the Texans. We saw it front row. We watched Blake Groupie, whatever his fucking name is. I don't know what his first name is. absolutely implode and then get chewed out by every away fan right there on row one. Incredible seats, incredible perspective, horrible game. Our offense sucks. So what do you do as a Saints fan right now? Because in my opinion, I think we're in that perpetual no man's land where we're always going to be good enough because the division's weak. We're always going to be good enough to be like pick 10 to 20. And you'll never get a quarterback. I mean, you'll get like you can get a quarterback, but you're never going to get one of the top 3 quarterbacks coming out. So what do you do?
Yeah, I don't know. It kind of sucks because, like you said, the division's good enough to where, we can't fire the coach.
What do you mean?
Like last season or this season, or maybe when this season finishes, who knows how it plays out, because record-wise, it's still right there with the teams in our division. But
yeah, and that's what everybody's saying, but it's over. Like,
we're not going to win a playoff game if we somehow manage to get there.
Yeah. By the grace of God, we backdoor our way into the playoffs because the division's horrible. What are we going to do? We're going to go on the road. We're going to not put up any points on the board. We're going to rely on a heroic effort from the defense, and they're going to give us 3 great quarters, and then they'll be dog shit tired by the 4th, and then we'll lose. I'm not trying. I've always was the ultimate optimist since we had Drew Brees, because we always had a chance with Drew. But I mean, especially from 2017 to 2021, I was the ultimate optimist. We're never out of the game. Always, Drew tore the ligaments in his fingers against the Rams. Like, Teddy can carry the load, and we'll get back, and then we'll just weather the storm until Drew comes back. And what we do? We went like 5-0 with Teddy. Like, we're fucked now. There is no optimism. There's nothing to be excited about. There's nothing to be, because the defense is slowly but surely breaking down. We're allowing the Texans to burn us with crossing routes, and Nico Collins is burning Lattimore, and our red zone offense is, that was the knock. That's what we said when we signed Derek Carr. The one knock on Derek Carr was his red zone efficiency. I can find last year, I remember he was on the Raiders, I was on the other side, and I remember Derek Carr turned the ball over like twice in the red zone. And we talked about it the next week. I was like, that was the difference. I was like, he sucks in the red zone. And then we sign him, and you start thinking like, well, maybe it's not that bad. You hope. Mm-hmm. But no, he's bad in the red zone. When you go back and watch the last 4 plays of the game, it was throw a prayer to the right, throw a prayer to the left. All right, try again back to the right. All right, last one to the left. It was just throw a prayer to the back corner of the end zone and hope. What is that?
Yeah, it was disgusting.
That's a tremendous problem. Like, I don't know. I don't know. There's nothing to be excited about. I'm pretty much out. Mm-hmm. I'll still watch. I'll still root. I'll be happy if we win, but I kind of won't, because we'll just wind up in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, you kind of just hope we suck.
Yeah, you kind of
get rid of everybody.
Yes, you kind of have to hope shit hits the fan so bad. But then what do you do? Because Dennis Allen went and got Derek Carr. That was his guy. He came here to play with DA and blah, blah, blah. They both stink. Carr stinks. Allen's an idiot. Pete Carmichael's like Joe Biden. He's too old for his position, and he was always an idiot. So what do? Everybody lived in the shadow of Sean Payton. And it's kind of like the offensive line. Drew Brees made the offensive line look better than it was. Clearly, because Ramczyk, it's like, oh, Ramczyk's actually struggling. Eric McCoy. Just all these people, when you have somebody that is elite at the position, or an elite head coach, which Sean Payton was, I understand what he's doing in Denver right now is a train wreck, but he's one of the best head coaches of all time. He's one of the best offensive minds of all time. And it was a perfect, it was like perfect harmony between him and Drew Brees. Mm-hmm. So what do? Nothing. We stink. I don't know what to do. It's weird. It's like, personally, as a Saints fan, like, I've been a Saints fan my entire life, dedicated a lot of time and energy, and it's just a really weird time where you feel like you should be as invested because you're a fan to your core and like that's your identity. Like, been a Saints fan my whole life, but deep down I know we fucking suck, and we have inept coaches, and the front office is just top to bottom. It's bad.
Yeah. So
it's like almost like it's like conflicting feelings, because you don't want to root for your team to lose, but if we continue to win some here and there, then we're going to be stuck.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to get much better.
No.
Because we saw it. We were right there. It's like clearly Carr's frustrated with the play calling. Then other players on the team seem to be frustrated with Carr.
Yes.
It's like they can say all that shit doesn't matter, but it's like next game, once shit's not going smooth.
Yeah.
Here it comes again.
Turn right the fuck around and play on Thursday, too.
Mm-hmm.
You have no time to get it figured out.
Yeah, injuries on the offensive line.
Yeah. Shout out to Foster Moreau, though. We had front row seats, best seats in the house, 40-yard line, row 1. We got a front row view of the only guy, outside of maybe Jameis, the only guy trying to rally the troops and saying, it's on us, we're going to put points on the board, the defense is going to hold them, they're not scoring more than 24 points. Foster Moreau. I would hire Foster Moreau to be the head coach of the New Orleans Saints today. So he's got a future in coaching, guaranteed. So that was cool to see. All right. Couple things I wrote down. Colorado blew a 29-point lead.
Yep.
Lost in double or triple overtime. Would you say the Dion experiment is a failed experiment?
I don't know about fail.
I know. That's what we were talking about.
But yeah, but that chicken walking guy's over his head.
Oh, yeah. Dude, you saw Shador Sanders was posting to his Instagram at halftime?
Wow.
29-0. He's posting to his Instagram about like merch accounts and all of that. And then you come out and you blow the lead. You blow a 29-point lead. It was 70-1 for Stanford to come back and win. 70-1 odds. What the fuck? You know, somebody took it. Somebody with more money than sense was like, fuck it. And he's like, Jesus Christ. He woke up in the morning because the game went to fucking probably 2:30 in the morning, 3. He's like, oh my God, I just won $4,000. Like, what a fucking rush that had to be. And then, okay, the last thing I have. You saw the Chargers fan last night?
Yeah.
You think that's a plant by the NFL?
I have no idea.
Who was that?
Some girl. I mean, you saw it?
It was just a random person?
Yeah, what do you mean?
I thought that was like somebody of significance.
The Chinese ambassador for the United States.
Well, maybe like a player's wife or a coach's wife. I didn't know who the hell that was.
Come on. No.
Coach's wife.
Yeah, that's Pete Carmichael's wife. No, this Chargers fan was overly animated, and in my personal opinion, you can never convince me otherwise, was a plant by the NFL because the Chargers have no fans. The Cowboys, every time the Cowboys would get a stop on third down, it was like it was a home game. They're just showing her continuously throughout the game, like overly animated, like, come on, yes. Like, and she's saying, like, get him, but they're on offense. And yeah, I don't buy it. I don't buy it at all. They had her on Pat McAfee's show today. It's like, yeah. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. They're trying to say like the Chargers have fans, and when you hear her talking to Pat McAfee, she's like, I just knew we had to get that touchdown. It's like nobody talks like that. They said she's a season ticket holder for like 30 years. Bullshit. Because they've been in they've been in the LA for what? 5 years. Yeah. So what did she have? And she even said, she was like, I've been a fan. I've lived in LA and I've always loved the Chargers. Like they used to be in San Diego. You stupid idiot. So I don't buy it. I don't buy it for a second. I don't trust her as far as I can throw her, and I could probably throw her pretty far. But yeah, I thought that was clearly a sham, without question.
Yeah, I was confused. I was like, who is this lady?
I think she just doesn't understand. I don't know why they kept putting a camera on her. That was a bit funny. But
Yeah.
Yeah, she just had no idea what was going on.
She's like a kid with too much sugar. Like, yeah, like it's like a commercial break. Like she doesn't know what's going on. All right, let's get into the recap, I guess. Y'all have anything before we do it?
No, I had fun though.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, I lost all my money.
Saturday was fun.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was fun.
And the stadium was cool.
It would have been so much better if I wasn't just a broke dumb idiot losing all my money. And so, yeah, let's get into it because it was a fucking God. It was such an aggravating day in terms of bets. Start the week off with Sam Houston +4. Not the best pick in hindsight, but it was a tale of two halves. New Mexico State didn't score a point in the second half. Sam Houston State was able to put some points on the board, but not enough to get back inside the number. Utah State +6 was a sweat. My only win of the week. They lose by 5 because of it came down to a 2-point conversion. Utah State had to get a 2-point conversion, and then they stopped whoever the fuck it was, Fresno, from converting their 2-point conversion, and that was the difference. So a 1-1 start to the week. Then Memphis +5. Memphis was up 21-10 late in the second half, and they allowed 21 unanswered points from Tulane. A heartbreaking. Hannigan's an idiot. The quarterback from Memphis is an absolute idiot. He's great for 3 consecutive drives, and then he just sucked the rest of the game. Oregon +3 was a push. And full transparency to the listeners, I put a large chunk on the money line. So I lost my ass this week. Dan Lanning, I respect the aggressiveness. I do. You got to get it. You get 4th and 3. You and I both knew that's what we're talking about. You punt it to him, they're fucking scoring still. That Washington offense, Penix played great. He's definitely worthy of the leading Heisman candidate, in my opinion. He was just hanging in the pocket, taking shots, delivering ridiculous balls. But I like the aggressiveness. I've always said it. With an offense like Oregon's, that was the whole thing. Like, they have comparable offenses. Obviously, Washington had the edge. Oregon had the edge on defense, which they came up huge on a goal line stand. 4th and 3, you got to get the 3 yards. I would go for it 10 out of 10 times. So what are your thoughts? And I understand hindsight's 20/20, but we were saying it felt like we were on opposite sides at first, and then it was okay, they're going. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, so I guess in hindsight now, the last 4th down in the game, yeah, I would have went for it because at the time I was like, punt it. But, if they would have gotten that, they would have been able to run the clock out. The 4th down I don't agree with was the one right before halftime.
Yes.
I would have kicked a field goal there because they were getting the ball after halftime.
Yeah. Yeah. And
so you would have been in control of the game from that point out.
And it's like, I guess clearly he came in because he did this last year, and he's done this throughout this whole season. Like, he's going to be aggressive, and he is going to, I guess maybe they're taking analytics into account. And if it's 4th and short, he's going to take the chances. And I do respect it. I guess it's kind of, you either live by it or you die by it. But it's like, you can tweak your strategy in the right situation. So the fact that, that they did get it at halftime, I understand. You scored the touchdown, now you can have a 14-point swing. But you didn't get it, and you could have all but essentially guaranteed yourself at least a possible 10-point swing with the field goal.
Well, yeah, you're looking at it in hindsight. It's like if they would have kicked the field goal and made it, then all of a sudden the last drive of the game, you're setting yourself up for a game winner.
Yeah, and there's probably a little less pressure on the kicker, knowing that if you miss it, you don't lose. You just go to overtime. So that was unfortunate. Texas A&M +3.5. It was your lock. I was on it as well. This was one, they had it. They had this game. Blew it in the end. That was the trending topic of my whole week. Memphis blew it. Had a chance to backdoor. Couldn't do it. Oregon had a field goal at the end of the game to tie it. Missed it. Texas A&M +3.5. Blows it late. Then I had Wisconsin -9.5, which I'll let you touch on A&M since it was your lock. Wisconsin -9.5. Mordecai gets hurt in the first half. Somebody throw me a fucking bone here, man. Give me a break. Like R. Kelly, I'm fighting for my life. Mordecai gets hurt in the first half. It probably wouldn't have hit. Let's be honest. Come on. Let's be honest. Probably didn't have a shot from the get-go because I'm an idiot. Cincinnati -5, my lock of the week. Cincinnati fucking stinks. Their coach is an idiot. Satterfield's a dumbass.
Yeah.
And then the last one, I saved it for the end. It wasn't my lock, but it could have took a horrible week and like the Undertaker rising out of the fucking casket. It could have brought me back from the dead. But it did exactly what I knew it would. Miami +4. Miami was hanging tough the whole game. A couple bad decisions by Van Dyke. Poor interceptions. It's looking like it was out of the question, done deal. They were going to lose. And then from the rafters, here they come. I don't even know how they scored because I was literally going to sleep. I was so mad. And then all of a sudden, I'm like half asleep. Y'all are making noise. And I hear like, touchdown, Hurricanes. And I like crack one eye open. I'm like, motherfucker. So then Miami needs to get a stop, which they do. They get the ball back in prevent. Here we go. We're marching down, fucking taking their sweet time. Hurrying up, trying to get one last play off. 4, 3, 2, 1, hike. Van Dyke throws a pick in the end zone. A little more air under it. I think we maybe toe tap at the back of the end zone. Could have completely turned my entire week and life around, but it just delayed the inevitable, kept me watching a little bit longer, and took probably about 45 minutes of precious sleep from me when we had to get up early the next day. And all in all, we go an abysmal 1-6-1. We take a promising year and just set it on fire. And now we got to fucking put the fire out this week. And now my back's really against the wall, because when you do this and you shit all over yourself, you can't do it 2 weeks in a row. Or I might as well just walk out into Lake Pontchartrain until I can't fucking walk out anymore. Can't do it 2 weeks in a row. So 1-6-1 brings me to 20-27-3, 3-5 in my locks of the week. We will turn it around. Hopefully this week. I taped that. It took me fucking 30 minutes to tape that ticket back together. So I'm trying. So you went 2-3-1.
Yeah, we had Cincinnati, shit show. Oregon, we talked about it. Texas A&M plus 3.5. The biggest thing here was Tennessee's ability to get pressure. Kind of wreaked havoc on Max Johnson and made A&M's offense ineffective. Texas Tech -1. The quarterback gets hurt in this one.
Yeah.
And then the backup.
Was it Shaw back again? Or
no, the second string got hurt.
Jesus Christ.
And then frickin' Avery Johnson for Kansas State.
Yeah.
They put Will Howard. They bench Will Howard. This guy comes in, plays.
They bench
plays
Will Howard?
Yeah. It's looking like they're going to be going with this guy, Avery Johnson.
Damn. Didn't even know.
So that's that.
Get to the winners.
Miami, UNC over 57.5. This one hit. It kind of was looking shaky there at the end because UNC was about to score, but they were near the goal line and it was getting to third down, and it was becoming that situation where obviously Miami wasn't gonna be kicking field goals anymore. They needed a touchdown, so UNC was able to score. Then obviously we know Miami kind of fought back there at the end. It went way over, but LSU -11.5, easy, one of the easiest bets of the year.
Yeah.
But you gotta watch out for Brick's picks.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, we did it all last year. Every now and then we will have some ads, which he does his ads on his own end. I'll do mine. There'll be separate videos. So if you're not subscribed to the YouTube page, go click subscribe. If you're watching on right now, hit the button right below. Subscribe. All the videos will pop up that you need to see. If you see mine, don't click on them. Joseph, you had, I guess what would be a down week, but.
Yeah. 1 and 2. Started off with you. You were on Utah State. I was on the over. That one hit.
Both hit.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm saying I was on.
No, I know.
That game
I'm saying that was good.
Yeah, and then never again with Washington State. I'm done with them. Never again. I mean, they're 8.5 point favorites at home, and they get absolutely walloped. What was it? 40-6.
I told you Arizona was good, but
no. And look,
and I
they
think
showed
Washington
it versus
State.
USC.
I think Washington State was off a bye too.
Yeah, they were.
That's crazy.
Yeah, this was clear Washington State spot too.
Yeah,
Obviously with Arizona going to overtime with USC the week before.
Right.
It's like,
yeah. So.
I'm sure a lot of people were on Arizona in the public.
Yeah.
And then UCLA, Oregon State under. My lock did not hit. UCLA didn't get the stops that I expected them to. So that hurt. Brings me to 16-11 overall and 3-5 in my locks.
Alrighty. Trying to look at something. I'll do it later. All right. I got to do better this week. Can't really do much worse. Got one winner by a fucking 1 point. Thank God for a 2-point conversion. Nearly went over. I feel like an abused child. And they're like, nah, I'm not going to hit you again. And you're like, all right. And then, wham, fucking smacks you right across your face. I'm gun shy. I'm second guessing everything. But that's why I'm going to fucking get them this week. So, right when you think you know nothing, that's when you come back and law of averages, it evens out. Let's look ahead to college football week 8. I'll let you go first. We got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the same old song and dance. We got games every day this week. We had games on as we speak. Are you taking anything on Wednesday?
Yeah. Are y'all on New Mexico State? Are you doing anything with them?
Of course.
I have a bunch of fucking breakdown, but I don't think I'm gonna bet this game.
Alrighty. What do you mean? I'm on fucking side
You're
and
on it?
total.
Okay, well,
see,
I'll
I
just,
do this. Hold on, I do this thing where like I'm like writing these picks down. I'm like, please, please, please. But now I'm like having this overwhelming wave of confidence. I'm on side and total. I feel
I'll break
fucking
it down, and then I'll tell you what I was thinking.
You throw the alley-oop basically, and then I'll come in with the picks.
So initially, I was thinking that New Mexico State laying 3.5 on the road against UTEP. UTEP is bottom 100 in yards per play allowed, third down offense, and third down defense. They're facing a team in New Mexico State that is number 7 in the nation in yards per play. New Mexico State is averaging 2 yards per play better than UTEP on offense, 7 yards per play to 5 yards per play. UTEP is giving up a yard per play more on defense than they're gaining on offense, 5 yards per play to 6 yards per play allowed. Like, for me, this spot kind of at first says take UTEP, but then you look at the discrepancies in statistics, and then New Mexico State only laying 3 or 3.5 on the road. It's like, so initially I was thinking about taking UTEP here. I think they're a little bit better than statistics and final scores so far this season has shown, but these are big discrepancies as far as yards per play and yards per play allowed.
Yeah.
So I kind of shied away.
I'm taking UTEP.
Okay.
But the main thing, the first one I took, I'm taking both. I'm going side and total, but I'm on the under 48.5. I'll just go over everything I wrote again. Take it with a grain of salt. I don't know shit. I'm going to take the under 48.5. These Conference USA games are funny where you'll see a team look unstoppable for a half and then they can't sniff a first down. Against FIU, UTEP scored 25 points in the first half and then only 3 in the second. Same thing for New Mexico State, 27. All of their points scored in the first half, 0 in the second in their most recent game. Both teams have a solid pass rush. Both are able to get at the quarterback. Both want to establish the run. It's been kind of quarterback roulette for UTEP. Their redshirt senior is questionable. It's been questionable. Do we see him back? Don't know. Don't care. I watch this New Mexico State team a lot. They're very hot and cold. When Pavia gets cold, he's extremely cold. I have 3.5. So over 3, I'll take UTEP. And then I'm going under 48.5 as well.
Yeah, I'll take UTEP then as well. Because you look at the game, comparable opponent, FIU, New Mexico State played FIU at home, I think, and then UTEP played FIU
Mexico State,
as an away game.
New Mexico State was at home, yes.
And statistics in that game suggest that these teams are a lot closer than the yards per play and third down conversion rates suggest. So I think UTEP is a little bit better than they've played so far this season.
Yeah, I agree. And New Mexico State, this is actually a rivalry game too. It's not like a crazy amount of distance to travel, obviously, but New Mexico State plays better at home than on the road like most teams do. UTEP getting over 3. They're going to be fired up. All 17 people in the stands are going to be going crazy. I think we see the Miners have a good night. They need to. But FIU, like I watched it closely, obviously. I was on it. New Mexico State covered. I feel like the score is not indicative of how that game really went, though. There was a couple red zone turnovers. There were some key plays that went New Mexico State's way that the score could have looked a lot different than what it was. So, yeah, we're going to get the week started off right. I'm on side and total. If I go 2-0, oh my God, I will be fucking back from the dead. Y'all will not hear the fucking end of it. Yeah, but I'm taking UTEP plus 3.5, and then I'm taking under 48.5. Just stop letting Pavia run, because he'll throw some stupid throws, but then every now and then he'll drop like a gorgeous deep ball in the bucket. It's like, what is that? Joseph, are you on any Wednesday games?
No.
I was looking at Sam Houston State again, too. I was like, no, not this time. Thursday, anybody?
Yeah, I'm on Thursday.
Okay.
James Madison -4 at Marshall. The over-under is 50 points.
Uh-huh.
While James Madison has the number 1 ranked rush defense in the nation, giving up 39 rushing yards per game. They also have an advantage in yards per play margin against Marshall. They really struggle on third down offense, 27% conversion rate, ranking 127 in the nation. Marshall has the 6th ranked third down defense in the nation. I like Marshall here in a bounce back spot after losing 2 games on the road. This game's at home. I think the playmaking ability of Fancher is kind of the difference here and keeps Marshall in the game. So I'm going to take Marshall +4 at home.
I'm not on it, but I wanted to fucking do it. It worries me, Marshall's run defense.
Yeah.
What is that? I was trying to look, like, is there some reason, like, did they play a service academy school and get fucking bullied or something? Why are they so bad against the run? And, like, was it one game that it's kind of skewed? Because, honestly, their defensive statistics overall, like, their pass defense looks like it's the best in the fucking country. God, I want to do it, but I'm not. I'll just wait. That's what I said. I'm dedicating Thursdays just to the NFL. That's the side I would lean, though, for what that's worth, which is nothing. Are you on any Thursday games, Joseph?
No.
All righty. What about Friday? SMU Temple.
I'm skipping Friday.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay, so I looked at it. I looked at it pretty close, and E.J. Warner has been. He didn't play last game. He was a late scratch. He was banged up. The backup stinks. So the way I was looking at this was, if E.J. Warner is out, I wanted to take SMU first half. Because typically, and I almost wanted to take them first quarter, because their scripted plays, they've had a lot of success. A large portion of their points come in the first half, and especially the first quarter. Temple just stinks. They struggle. I'm not currently on anything. I couldn't find any official report about E.J. Warner. They just lost 45-14 to a North Texas defense that is not spectacular at all. They could only score 14 points. Both came in the first half. They were held scoreless in the second half. Quentin Patterson, 12 of 30, 105 yards and 3 interceptions. They actually had a lot of success running the football, but then just untimely turnovers. Temple's on a 4-game losing streak. Obviously, they play Miami, but I don't know. I wanted to take SMU here. Like I said, first half. Currently, I'm not on it. Maybe I'll add it. I don't know. Did you look at it at all? Do you have an opinion?
No, I haven't. I didn't really even decide to look at it.
Okay. I'll hold off for now, but we'll see. All right, let's look ahead to Saturday. Let's start with the big one, I guess. The biggest game of the week, without question. Big Ten matchup. Number 7 ranked Penn State Nittany Lions going on the road to what? The Horseshoe?
I don't even know what they
I think that's what they call it. To take on the number 3 Ohio State Buckeyes. Are you on it?
No.
Are you on it?
Yes.
What are you doing? It's the biggest game of the year. I'll let you go first.
Okay. Yeah, Penn State, Ohio State. This is at 11 a.m. Saturday. I am going to take the under 46.5.
They had 48s available today.
Okay. I'm going to take the under 48. Let me scratch it out real quick. We're talking 2 top 10 defenses here, and arguably the biggest game of the year so far. I'm looking at both scoring and total defense here. Penn State, they're both top 10 in both categories. Penn State second in scoring defense, giving up only 8 points per game this season. Ohio State third, giving up only 10. And total defense, Penn State is first overall in the country. Ohio State seventh. Penn State giving up only 193 yards per game. Ohio State giving only 263. This is Penn State's first, I would say, real test this year, and definitely going to be their hardest. This is Alar's first start against a powerhouse team in what should be a very, very rowdy atmosphere. He's been great all season long, and I think he could be the real deal, but I also think this is a spot we could see him struggle against a really good defense on the road. And on the other side for Ohio State, you have another first-year starter in McCord against another, as I mentioned, very good Penn State defense here. So I think points will be hard for both teams to come by here. Sort of similar to that Notre Dame-Ohio State game, I am going to take the under 48.
Alrighty, I'm going to take the Nittany Lions plus 4.5. 4.5 feels like too many. Kyle McCord, is it fair to say, I mean, and you can give your unbiased opinion, is it fair to say Kyle McCord's the worst quarterback that Ohio State's had in a decade?
Yeah, I guess so.
He's just like, and it sounds harsh to word it like that, because I don't think he's horrible. They've just had incredible quarterbacks time and time again. And we're talking collegiately. Understand NFL-wise, typically Ohio State quarterbacks don't pan out, although C.J. Stroud looks great. But collegiately, I mean, Dwayne Haskins was a stud. I mean, you go down the line when they had the trio of, who was it, Braxton Miller, Cardale Jones, and then who was the other one? Who was the third one?
16. He came to the Saints on the practice squad.
Oh.
Barrett. JT
Barrett, yes.
Troy Smith.
Yeah, well, yeah, if you want to go, yeah.
Yeah.
So Kyle McCord, they should have lost the game to Notre Dame. They were very lucky to win that game.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I think that Penn State's going to keep this one close. So, have you seen anything about Egbuka?
If he's playing or not?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
He didn't play last week.
Right.
As far as I could tell, it looks like he's probably trending towards not playing again. Don't know for sure, but if he's out, he was against Notre Dame. He was 7 for 96. He's the chain mover. We've kind of seen Marvin Harrison Jr. shot kind of not exactly perform up to expectations in these big games. That or he gets hurt in them. I'm taking Penn State plus 4.5. I think we can see them. The defense is so fucking good. The run defense specifically is really good. I understand Ohio State has guys, but they weren't really, other than the big run that Henderson had against Notre Dame, they weren't really having that much success on the ground, I didn't feel like. I think we could see that here. I think the rush defense for Penn State is better than Notre Dame's. Overall, the defense is better. I think it's going to come down to McCord. I am worried. I want to see how Aller responds. This is the first true road test. It's a top 10 matchup. It's number 3 Ohio State. We're going to see what he can do. But I do think that their stable of running backs makes his life a lot easier. I'll put that backfield up against anybody's in the country. Like we said, a lot of people have a good, fast running back or a bruising running back, but they have the perfect combination of speed and power and shiftiness as well. I've watched them time and time again. What should have been a loss of 3, they make the guy miss, and then they turn it into a gain of 6. So you're going to have to do that probably a decent bit here. Penn State's offensive line is good. The left tackle has kind of been not really performing up to what was the expectations coming in, but they still have a quality offensive line. They have a great defensive line. I'm taking the Nittany Lions plus 4.5. I just think it's too many points. What's your first one for Saturday?
UCF at number 6, Oklahoma. Oklahoma's 19.5-point favorites. The over-under is 65. Both teams are coming off of a bye, obviously. Oklahoma is coming off the big win against Texas. UFC has dropped 3 in a row.
UCF.
Oh, shit. I don't even know if I should bet this. They've dropped 3 in a row, and it's going to be 4. They had the collapse against Baylor. Then they get routed by Kansas. UCF isn't going to be able to get their first Big 12 win here, but 19.5 does seem like a little bit too many points for an offense that's number 4 in the nation in yards per play behind only Washington, LSU, and USC. So I'm going to take UCF plus 19.5 on the road.
That was another one I was looking at. Not going to do it, but it is certainly, it's like, how is Oklahoma going to respond? Let down spot off the bye. They probably partied like fucking crazy. That was one I was looking at. Air Force and Navy. You touching it?
No.
I'm going to take Navy, getting 11. There's weather in the forecast, about a 50% chance of rain. It's a Service Academy matchup, 11 points. Navy's defensive statistics are a little skewed because they got ran out of the building in Ireland by Notre Dame. Air Force is clearly far and away the best of the Service Academies. There's no question there. If there's weather in the forecast, Air Force likes to sprinkle in a little bit more pass plays than the other ones, than the other Service Academies. I just feel like 11's too much. You let Navy go, score a touchdown first, and then now we're in a dogfight. I don't know. It's going to be tough to cover that number, I think. I'm taking Navy plus 11. All right, Joseph, what's your next one?
I'm going to go to probably the second biggest game of this weekend, Duke at Florida State, 6:30 p.m. at night. I'm going to ride with the Seminoles here, laying 13.5. And look, I like Riley Leonard. I like this Duke football team, but I think the Seminoles flex a little bit here in this one. Mike Norvell has this team in championship or bust mode, and I think they'll look to continue to make a statement with another impressive showing here against a good Duke football team. It should be a favorable crowd. Primetime night game matchup for Florida State. We could see that affect Riley Leonard maybe a little bit in this offense, holding them from getting into rhythm potentially. And I don't see, even though Duke's defense has been pretty solid this year, Jordan Travis in this Seminoles offense is rolling right now, and I don't think they'll have a problem putting up points in this one. Trey Benson will get the rushing attack going, soften up that defense, allowing Travis to make plays downfield to his big time receivers, Keon Coleman and Johnny Wilson. And look, I love what I saw from the Seminoles defense last week, handling another mobile quarterback in Garrett Schrader en route to a 41-3 cakewalk victory. So I'm going to back the Seminoles here, minus 13.5.
I'm actually on the other side on this one. I'm going to take the 14. I got 14 with Duke. That's what the line is also currently at.
Okay.
Riley Leonard. It's not a definite if Riley Leonard's going to play or not. So that would make things, that would stink because he was questionable last week, had his ankle taped up, going through warm-ups, not in pads, just kind of out there. Elko said he's day-to-day. I would assume he's going to go for this one. They played NC State last week. They won 24-3 in a spot where some people felt like maybe we could see Duke struggle. I feel like, obviously, we know what Florida State's capable of offensively. I feel like there's been quite a few games where they haven't really put together like a full game dominant performance. Obviously, against LSU, it's a little different of a story. But, I mean, when you see what the defense is now, first half they struggled.
Boston College.
Yeah, Boston College, that was a near upset, I guess. They allowed Virginia Tech to keep it relatively close, I guess, but not really. But they did the large portion they scored. They scored 22 points in the first quarter. They scored 17 points in the final three quarters. Duke's not bad. Duke's a good team. They have a good running back in Waters. They've got weapons on the outside. Their defense is not bad. Their DBs are disciplined. Their backup quarterback is not very good. I need Riley Leonard to play in this game. If he does, I think they can keep it inside 2 touchdowns. I don't know. What are your thoughts? You had to at least look at this one, right?
Yeah, it's a tough one. Because I kind of agree that, sometimes Florida State looks really good, and then other times I'm wondering if they're a true contender. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like in that Clemson game, man, they were really lucky to beat Clemson. Obviously, the sack, fumble, scoop score, and then in the end, it was like the offense really couldn't do shit, and it was just kind of throw it up to your big guys and pray that they catch it. Is Wilson back for this one? Was he out last week?
I think he might have been. Let me see. Go ahead, though. Continue. I'll let you know in 1 second.
So, yeah, just there seems to be a little bit of concerns there still for Florida State on offense when
he was out.
When the defense kind of takes away what you want to do.
Yeah, I mean, Keon Coleman, 9 receptions, 140 yards and a touchdown. He's best receiver on the field for sure. I like Duke's defense. I don't think Johnny Wilson's that great, first off. I think Johnny Wilson's just a big body. I don't know. Keon Coleman's their best receiver without question.
Yeah.
I think Duke defensively has shown that they can scheme up and make life difficult for guys. They allow less than 300 yards per game. They allow less than 165 passing yards per game. It's just one of those things where you're just used to Duke football not being good for as long as they have been. I would go out on a limb. I don't even know if it's really going out on a limb, but Mike Elko is going to get a job somewhere else very soon at a Power 5 school, which it's Power 5, at a top of the food chain school.
Football school.
Very soon. He is going to get a job. What he's done with Duke immediately, which don't get me wrong, I liked Coach Cutcliffe a lot. I was on the Duke train before a lot of people even knew Duke football was trending in that direction. But Mike Elko stepped in and took them to new heights almost immediately. They're 5-1 this season in a season where they've scheduled much tougher opponents. Obviously, they're getting into the bulk of that schedule now, but they handled business against Clemson. Played a dogfight of a game against Notre Dame, and then just trounced NC State without their starting quarterback, Riley Leonard, who I've been screaming it from the mountaintops. Riley Leonard is one of the best quarterbacks in the country. It's not even up for debate. His dual threat ability, but then you have Waters, Calhoun at receiver. They've got DBs. They've got good linebackers. They've got guys, number 90 on the D-line, blanking on his name. He can get after Jordan Travis, make life difficult. I'm going to take Duke plus 14 and hope that they can make this a game. At the very least, the back door will be open. I don't think they just get blown out of the water. Could be wrong, but we've yet to see Florida State really. Syracuse stinks. Mm-hmm. Syracuse stinks. I saw that with North Carolina. We saw it time and time again. Syracuse is not good. Offensively, they're horrible.
They struggled with, who was it? Army.
Yeah. So, yes, Florida State beat the dog shit out of Syracuse, but Duke would beat the dog shit out of Syracuse too. So, it's going to be a good game. It's one that obviously I have action on. If I didn't, I would still be watching. But I'm excited to see. One, Riley Leonard's got to play, or else fuck my life. So, we'll see what happens on that front. But, all right, what's your next one for Saturday?
Texas Tech -4.5 at BYU. The over-under is 52. Beren Morton got knocked out of last week's game against Kansas State. He's going to be a game-time decision in this one for Texas Tech, regardless.
You taking the Mormons?
I still like Texas Tech in this one. BYU ranks 121 in yards per play. On defense, they give up 4.7 yards per rush, ranking 102nd in the nation. Texas Tech is a team averaging 3.6 line yards per rush and allowing only a stuff rate of 14%. So I like Texas Tech, even if the quarterback's out. -4.5. I think Texas Tech kind of runs it all over them, and obviously BYU's offense struggling.
Slovis hadn't been playing well. I haven't seen BYU really at all this year.
I watched them against Cincinnati, and Cincinnati should have won that game.
Well, yes.
But Cincinnati sucks
Yes.
at winning.
All right. Texas and Houston. Are you on it?
No.
Did you look at it?
I know which side I would lean.
Say it.
I would take Texas.
I'm taking Texas. Texas is off a bye, and honestly, I went back and looked. It's a little funny with the COVID year. You got to take with a grain of salt. After the Red River Shootout, Texas has not really done spectacular in that very next game. 2 years ago, they did beat a ranked Oklahoma State team by a touchdown, but last year they beat Oklahoma 49-0, and then they came out, and I want to say they lost last year. Anyway, regardless, Texas is coming off their heartbreaking loss in the Red River Shootout. Houston's coming off a Hail Mary tip ball last play win over West Virginia, which was incredible. Texas is going to be well rested off the bye. They played well on the road this year. We saw them go into in Alabama, get a win there. The season's not over, but the room for error is gone. I think we see Texas come out and know that they are heading straight for a Big 12 matchup and a rematch with Oklahoma. Big 12 championship and a rematch with Oklahoma. I don't like Dana Holgorsen. I don't like Houston. It's a very wishy-washy Houston team. They just won in an absolute shootout on the last play. They partied like crazy. Holgorsen's probably still drunk. He's not going to have this team ready to go. Texas is going to come out and beat the dog shit out of Houston. So I'm taking the Longhorns -23.5.
Yeah, I'll take Texas.
Let's go.
I think Tech. It's like last year, though. You kind of, I guess when I think about a Big 12 matchup, I kind of get a little bit worried because it's like last year was the same story where Texas kind of dropped some games that they shouldn't have.
Yes.
Obviously against the better teams in the Big 12, but it's like I hope that doesn't happen here because I want to see the rematch.
Me too. I agree. Last year, yeah, Texas was ranked 25th, which they were done at this point. 49-0 dominant win over Oklahoma. Dylan Gabriel obviously didn't play. Very next week, they go out and lose to Oklahoma State, 41-34. Year before that, they lost to Oklahoma 45-53. And we remember that game well. Following week, they were ranked 19. They beat 20 ranked Oklahoma State 41-34. So coming off a loss, if we're going by 2 years of history, and then I don't take the COVID year into account. I think they lost. That's why I'm not taking it into account. You got to come out and handle business. Houston's not good. Their defense gives up 430 yards per game, 162 rushing yards allowed. Texas should be at. We watched firsthand that they have dominant running backs. Brooks ran it all over Oklahoma. 22 carries, 129 yards, 6 yards a carry. He had a touchdown. They should have a balanced offense. Who's it? Donovan Smith for Houston. We were on Rice. It was my lock of the week back when brighter days. Rice won outright. Houston's not a good football team. They're not well coached. They're going to commit a lot of penalties. They're going to get burnt on the back end. Pin your ears back. Go get Donovan Smith. Don't let him run on you. He's not going to beat you with his arm. I think Texas rolls in this one big. I almost made it my lock, which means nothing. I have one more and then my lock.
I just got my lock.
You know what? I have two more. I'm just going to fucking do it, dude. I'm sending shots again. I'm going to take Central Michigan -4.5, I believe it was. Yeah, -4.5. Ball State's one of the worst teams in the country, let alone, obviously, worst. If you're the worst team in the MAC, you're the worst team in the country. So Central Michigan, come out established the run. Ball State's bad. Obviously, I like McElwain. This is more, I just think Ball State's that bad. I'm taking Central Michigan -4.5 to come out and handle business. It was one of those that I was on the fence on. The last 3 weeks, I've had those on the fence ones that I didn't pull the trigger on, and they won. So no more of that. Joseph, how many more do you have before you lock?
Just my lock.
Okay, and what'd you say?
Just my lock.
Okay, my one more for my lock. Miami Hurricanes +4. I'm going back to it. Van Dyke got banged up, but it sounds like Cristobal said, it sounds like he's fine. He played the final play of the game, underthrew a ball for a pick, like a fucking schmuck. I don't think Clemson's offense is that good. Miami's defense, believe it or not, somehow I feel like Miami's defense didn't play that bad, giving up 41 points. There were some turnovers that gave short field to North Carolina, and North Carolina's really good. They just are. I'm there. I said I wasn't there yet on them. I'm there. Drake May's great. But I don't know. Call me crazy, but there were times where I felt like they made some plays on the defensive side of the ball. I don't think Klubnik's anywhere near good as Drake May. I think Miami, if the offensive line can just hold up, they have weapons. I'm going to take Miami +4 at home. Both these teams not living up to expectations. Mario Cristobal, good God, they paid you a king's ransom. Can we get an upset here? Can we beat a team that's good? I hope it's this week. So Miami Hurricanes +4. And then just the locks left, right?
Yep.
All righty. Most important bets of the week.
It's a lock, Kramer. You've had this thing under control for almost 3 years now. But it's a lock.
They need that fucking juice. They need that next bet. They need, come on. Yes! When they win, they go fucking crazy.
You're a bad motherfucker. Go in that shower, grab your fucking nuts, and tell the world somebody's sniffing my fucking nutsack today. Cause I ain't got time to fuck around no more.
I'm going to a matchup down in Lafayette, Louisiana. Georgia State taking on UL Lafayette. UL is 3-point favorites. The over-under is 63 points. UL has a slight advantage in yards per play margin, but in my opinion, Georgia State has had the tougher schedule so far, especially the conference schedule. They've kind of played the better teams in the Sun Belt. The offenses are better than the defenses here. I think in the end, it's UL's defense that kind of lets them down here, especially in the end. They give up 3.4 line yards per rush and only stuff 9% of opponents' runs. Also, Georgia State has the advantage with experience at quarterback. I think Granger makes plenty of plays here. I'm taking Georgia State +3 as my lock of the week.
Okay. It's in Lafayette?
Yep.
You know, nobody will be there. So, all right, my lock of the week, I'm going to take the under in Penn State, Ohio State, 48.5. Actually, no, I'm sorry, 48. Joseph already touched on it. That's one of his plays. I'm I'm in agreement. A big key for me, I already mentioned it. Egbuka, if he's out, that's the chain mover for him. He makes life a lot easier. If you only have Marvin Harrison Jr. on the outside, you can scheme for him, you can bracket him, and then stop the run. I don't think McCord's going to be able to do it with his arm. I do worry about Drew Aller. Jesus, man. Right in the middle of my lock. Maybe that's good. I like Drew Aller a lot. I think Drew Aller is a year to 2 years away from being one of the best quarterbacks in the country, just because, in large part of the pieces around him. I think Penn State's going to keep it close. I think they're going to keep it close because of their defense. It doesn't mean I don't think I wouldn't even be blown away if they win this game. I think Aller is good, but my lock of the week is the under 48. McCord's just another guy. He's not an elite quarterback up to Ohio State standards. Joseph, what is your lock of the week?
My lock of the week, I'm going to be staying up late for this one. UCLA at Stanford. I am going to lay the 17, UCLA minus 17 here. I think there may be, I've seen a good bit of the public being on Stanford in this one. I think there may be a bit of an overreaction here in this one. After that comeback that Stanford had, 29-0 against Colorado, I'm not going to overreact to that. Colorado's defense is that bad. This is a much different, much more well-coached, and overall just better UCLA defense here this week. I know they couldn't come up with the stops I was looking for last week against Oregon State, but Oregon State has, it's not even close. It's night and day. By far a better offense than Stanford. Stanford's going to be riding high from last week's comeback, and UCLA, this is a get-right game for this one. I'm going to lay the 17.
Yeah, I mean, it's a clear letdown spot. Would you agree?
Yeah. I think UCLA's defense is really good,
Yeah, I would agree. And then if they can establish the run, game same time, another letdown spot, Arizona State, Washington. Washington coming off the big win against Oregon, obviously. And then Penix getting banged up in that game.
That's a big one, huh?
What?
Spread-wise?
Yeah, I see 27.
Yeah.
Give or take, 1.5.
Yeah, that one's at 9:30 as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I may have some ads this week. I don't know.
I'll be staying up late, that's for sure.
But, all right, to recap college football, Wednesday, I am taking UTEP plus 3.5 and the under 48.5. Penn State plus 4.5 in the biggest game of the week. I'm going to take Navy plus 11. I'm going to take Central Michigan minus 4.5. Texas minus 23.5 in my almost lock. Duke plus 14 and Miami plus 4. My lock of the week, Penn State, Ohio State under 48.
I'm taking UTEP plus 3.5, Marshall plus 4, UCF plus 19.5, Texas Tech minus 4.5. We're going to take Texas minus 23.5. And for my lock of the week, I'm taking Georgia State plus 3.
Okay. Joseph?
3 Saturday games. I am on it as well as Logan. Penn State and Ohio State under 48. I'm going to go Duke, Florida State. I'm going to take Florida State with the 13.5. And UCLA and Stanford is my lock of the week. UCLA minus 17.
There you go. That is our best bets for college football. Look, I opened my mouth, put it on the curb, and I got the back of my head stomped on. There's only one way to go, and that's up. So that or I could lose all my bets again.
Yeah, I feel like I'm doing worse than I am.
Oh, do you?
I'm 18, 20, and 2. I think I get them good this week.
Well, I'm happy for you that you're not doing as bad as it feels, because I'm doing exactly as bad as it feels. 1 week changed the whole vibe of this season. The ball has not bounced our way. That's just, there's no two ways about it. Like I said, dude, I mean, I'll give you a whole nother dissertation on it again. Memphis, horseshit. Oregon, horseshit. Miami, fucking horseshit. A&M, horseshit. Wisconsin, Mordecai gets hurt in the first half, horseshit. Cincinnati, they just fucking suck. But that's 5 horseshit games. If two of them go my way, we're looking at what? 3, 4, and 1? And then if Oregon can fucking pick up 3 yards, it's a completely different week.
Yeah.
We're staring good weeks right in the face. Positive weeks are on the horizon, I swear. I swear it. All right, we look ahead to, actually, no, we recap a down week in the NFL for me. But but just barely. Thursday, Broncos plus 10.5. Horse shit. Right there. On the fucking precipice of covering. Harrison Butker can kick 70-yard field goals in a hurricane. There was a 60-yarder and a 52-yarder. Broncos plus 10.5. They lose by 11. Raiders minus 3. I got to call it when it goes my way. When I get a little lucky, I'll acknowledge it. Raiders were controlling this game for the large portion of it, and then all of a sudden they weren't until they got a safety at the very end, and that was great. Jaguars minus 4.5 was a great pick. They absolutely dominated the Colts in large part, what I thought. Minshew's good enough to come in and win you a game. When you are planning for Minshew for the week, I don't think he's not good enough. So great backup. He can do what you need him to do. When your starter gets hurt long term, though, you're not going to win anything. It's the NFL. Bears plus 2.5. Again, Justin Fields gets hurt. They're in this game. They have a chance in this game. And then Justin Fields gets hurt. It's just been the story. It was the story of my week. It's not going to be the story of my year, but it was the story of my week, definitely. Bengals minus 3. Big time stop on the goal line to win by 4. Saints minus 1, my lock of the week. We suck. Dennis Allen should be fired. Pete Carmichael's old as fuck. And Derek Carr's not that good. So, bad pick there. I thought we were going to do better. It wasn't just because we were going to the game in Houston. I felt like that was a must. You had to have that win, and you didn't. So, that's why we're trash. 3 and 4 on the week brings me to 13-16. 13 and 16. 2 and 4 in my locks of the week with brighter days ahead. You went 2 and 2.
Yeah, Broncos team total under 18.5. What did the Broncos score? 10 or 9?
Yeah.
Or less,
Yeah.
maybe?
It was something like that. It hit.
Ravens minus 4 in London. They won
8.
by 8. That's what you said?
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
I just remembered it was 19-8. They scored 8 points, the Broncos.
Seattle, Cincinnati over 45.5. There was 24 points scored in the first half. I think there was like 6 scored in the second. So that one didn't hit. Bears plus 2.5. This second time on my lock that, well, one of them, my quarterback just didn't want to play. Then this one, Fields goes down. The Bears lose by 6.
Yes. So 2 and 2.
Yeah.
Could have been worse. You are 13 and 9 on the year, a respectable, good 13 and 9 for an early season still. 2 and 4 in the locks, so we got to pick it up in the locks.
5 and 1 on Thursday night.
Really? Well, we'll let you leave Thursday off after Joseph
this debacle.
after Joseph gives his plays out or recaps. So what'd you do?
I was staring a 4-1, my best week of the season, right in the face until the Cowboys and the Chargers, second quarter, third quarter, and fourth quarter. That was bad last night, but I started off the week good. Broncos, Chiefs, under 48. That one hit. 49ers, Browns. I was on the Browns plus 5.5. They won outright. Was a little discouraged by it, but I was on the right side of the Vikings and Bears, minus 2.5. And then obviously Saints, Texans. That was terrible. You already touched on it. We suck. And then, yeah, that Cowboys-Chargers over was a killer last night. And I finished the week 3 and 2, which brings me to 9 and 16 overall and 2 and 4 in my locks.
Okay. All right, we look ahead to week 7, I think I said it was, in the NFL.
Yeah.
Let's see. Thursday night.
Yep.
Saints, Jaguars. In the Dome, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're 5 and 1 on Thursday, so lead us to the water. Don't act like there wasn't a couple that I threw in there.
This
too.
line's been all over, with Lawrence's injury.
Yeah, what's
optimistic that he's gonna play?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, the Saints. Obviously, we know the defense. The Saints rank number 4 in the league in yards per play allowed, number 3 in third down defense, and number 6 in points per game allowed. Really, Jacksonville's defense is decent, but they're not really as good as the Saints. With Lawrence being injured and his status, I guess, being somewhat up in the air, earlier this game was Saints minus 3. Now it's minus 1 after he's optimistic that he'll play. It's like, I don't know. After the Saints game on Sunday against Houston, I was like, yeah, I'm fucking taking the Jaguars here, but I'm just going to take the Saints -1.
All right, I'm going to go over 39. It's a very low number. I don't know why, because we can't score in the red zone, and honestly, neither can the Jaguars, but they've kind of figured it out as of late. But then you throw in that Trevor Lawrence is dealing with the knee. ETN's been playing very well as of late. They have a slew of wide receivers. The Saints offense can't get worse.
Yeah, number 26 in yards per play, 20th in third down percentage, 24th in points.
I've just been taking nothing but primetime overs.
It's like a shit. It's a But then you look at Jacksonville; they're not really that good either.
Yeah, they're good in London.
Yeah, I mean, their record obviously is a little bit better than ours, but really their defense isn't anywhere close to ours.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that we can start to give our weapons the ball and maybe put some points on the board. So, yeah, I'm going over 39. I wouldn't touch this game with a 10-foot pole if it wasn't a Thursday game. So, Joseph, what are you taking?
I'm also going to take the Saints -1.
Okay.
Yeah. I think they're valuing our defense in the dome. I'm going to buy into that. Dome field advantage. I think the defense makes some plays. And Lawrence is hurt.
We suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The dome field advantage has been dead. Since Drew Brees died, it's been dead.
Died.
We suck. But, yeah, no, I mean, it's just the question mark.
If Lawrence wasn't hurt, I'd be taking the Jaguars here.
But he's optimistic he's going to go.
Yeah, what does that mean? I'm not fucking getting burned. Another quarterback not want to play.
That's why you take the over.
I know Derek Carr wants to play, even though if he plays, not shit. Okay.
Alrighty, let's look ahead to Sunday. My first one, noon, looking at the Falcons and the Buccaneers. Are you on it?
Yes.
I'm going to take the Bucs -2.5. I don't know where you're at. I think they have the linebackers to bottle up Bijan. We see it a lot of times with Alvin Kamara. They have speed at the linebacker position, makes the running back's life difficult. I understand. Well, I don't even know what the Falcons did last week. But I understand Ritter may have started to play a little bit better against Houston, and then they lost to Washington. Ritter stinks.
Yeah, 3 picks.
He's not an NFL quarterback. I'm going to take the Buccaneers at home, -2.5.
Yeah, I'm taking Tampa Bay as well. Tampa Bay has the 7th-ranked rush defense in the nation. I think the offensive struggles continue for Atlanta here. Tampa Bay -2.5.
Okay. What's your first one for Sunday, Joseph?
I'm going to double dip in this one. Dolphins at the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay.
I'm going to take the Eagles -2.5, and I'm going to take the over 52.5.
Okay.
The Eagles, they got a wake-up call against a tough Jets defense this past week. I don't see the same happening again here against a subpar Miami defense who got down early last week, 14-0 against the Panthers, who were moving the ball well in that game. The Eagles still have a good defense, and even though I don't think they completely shut down the Dolphins' offense, one of the best offenses in the league, I still think they get enough stops and slow them down enough to cover the 2.5. But there should be a lot of points scored in this one, so I'm going to go ahead and take the Eagles -2.5 and over 52.5.
Okay, I'm on the Dolphins. I haven't really been impressed with Philly this year, to be quite honest. Obviously, we just saw them lose to the Jets with Zach Wilson. The Jets' defense is good, but there's been times when it didn't look as good as we thought it was going to be. But who has the Eagles, who have they looked like the team that was just in the Super Bowl last year? Who have they looked like that against? An abysmal New England offense. They beat the Patriots 25-20. Then you play Minnesota, who has struggled all year and is probably going to end up trading Kirk Cousins. They're begging him to get rid of his no-trade clause. 34-28. On the road at Tampa, 25-11. Then and that's Tampa. That's Tampa's offense. They're still 25 points. Washington, 34-31 in overtime. At the Rams, 23-14. So offensively, they've been struggling. Devontae Smith's been struggling this year. I understand DeAndre Swift is having a pretty good go running the ball. Dolphins defense is nothing spectacular. I think that the Dolphins are going to be able to score more points than the Eagles and win the game. But yeah, no, I'm taking them plus. I think 2.5 is the number.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, give me the Dolphins. I just think that they kind of got smacked in the mouth by Buffalo. Then they came out and dropped 31 on the Giants. Obviously, Carolina, it was 14-14, and then it ended up being 42-21. I just haven't really been that impressed with Philly this year.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts?
I think at times, they look like the team they were last year, but obviously the offense is at times struggling.
Yeah, I mean, the strength of Philly's defense is the rush defense. Miami doesn't want to run the ball ever. So, even though they have running backs that apparently average 19 yards a carry. They just have so many weapons. It's just so many weapons. You're going to put a lot of pressure on Jalen Hurts and that Eagles offense to put some points on the board, which they have struggled to do so far this year. Yeah, I'm taking the Dolphins. What is your next one for Sunday?
I got my lock.
That's it?
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
As do I.
Okay, yeah. All right, I'm going to do Green Bay and Denver over 45. Why, I don't know. I don't think Green Bay's defense is that great. I know Denver's defense is bad. Jordan Love has managed to figure out ways to put points on the board. And then Russell Wilson, there's weapons there. The Chiefs' defense is good. The Broncos have been able to somewhat kind of put some points on the board. You would like to hope that Sean Payton's going to find the end zone here and there. I'm going to take the over 45. I think I'm just not blown away by either of these defenses, and I know the Broncos' defense is trash. Jair Alexander's been banged up. I don't know if he's going to be out for this one, but I'll take over 45. And then all I have left is my lock as well. So, best bets of the week in the NFL.
It's a lock, Kramer. You've had this thing under control for almost 3 years now. But it's a lock.
They need that fucking juice. They need that next bet. They need. Come on. Yes! When they win, they go fucking crazy.
You're a bad motherfucker. Go in that shower, grab your fucking...
All right, for my lock of the week, I'm going to go with the Browns -2 on the road against the Colts. It's like I just said about Gardner Minshew. He can come in and win you a game as the backup. I don't think he can do it when a team is planning exclusively for him. Give me the Browns -2. Is Deshaun Watson going to play? I don't know. Massage the shoulder. Get him back out on the field. Either way, the Browns just upset the 49ers because everybody on the offense got hurt. But a win's a win. They're going to win again here. They're going to beat the Colts. My lock of the week, -2. What's your lock?
I'm going to the Packers are 1-point favorites on the road against the Denver Broncos. The Broncos defense, like you said, they still rank last in the NFL. Last week against Kansas City, they gave up 389 yards, but they only allowed 19 points to be scored. The Broncos averaged 5 yards per carry against Kansas City. They have to lean on the run against Green Bay, whose rush defense ranks 28th in the NFL, allowing 143.4 yards per game. I'm taking the Broncos +1 at home.
Mm-hmm. Good. I want them to score points. All right, Joseph, what is your lock?
For my lock of the week, I'm going to go to Monday night. 49ers at the Vikings. I am going to lay the 7 with the 49ers. Even though I was on the right side last week, I was not impressed with the Vikings against the Bears. Even without Justin Jefferson, I expected their offense to score more than 12 points and have more than just 230 yards of total offense against one of the worst defenses in the NFL. And it doesn't get any easier in this one for Cousins, as he has to face the best defense in the NFL this week, coming off of a loss. And hungry to get back on track. I think this is a good spot for the 49ers to get back on track. Even with the injuries, I like them in this game to cover the 7 against Minnesota's weak defense.
McCaffrey and Debo are both out, right? And
No,
Trent
not out.
Williams?
I didn't see out.
I don't know. I think
Questionable as of now, as of what I saw.
from my understanding is that Samuel's more likely to play
Yeah, okay.
than McCaffrey.
But Trent Williams is hurt too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Godspeed.
I don't see that being a problem against a weak Minnesota defense, and I think San Fran's defense is the star of this game.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. That's the left tackle is important, so we'll see how that goes. But then McCaffrey too. McCaffrey scored a touchdown. What's his record? Like 16 games in a row or something crazy.
Yeah. 16 or 17.
Yeah.
Right
So
now.
I guess he's not going to play. So I guess that streak wouldn't come to an end. But, and who knows? Maybe he does play. All right, there you go. That is our best bets for NFL Week 7. To recap, Thursday night, I'm going to take the over 39 in Saints Jaguars. Sunday, I'm taking the Bucks -2.5, the Dolphins +2, Green Bay and Denver over 45, and my lock of the week is the Browns -2.
I'm taking the Saints -1, the Buccaneers -2.5, and for my lock of the week, I'm going with the Broncos +1.
Thursday night, I am also taking the Saints -1. Dolphins at the Eagles. I'm going to take the Eagles -2.5 and also the over 52.5 in this game. And for my lock of the week, I'm going to take the 49ers -7 on Monday night.
Okay, there you go. Our best bets of the week with our locks, college football and NFL. Episode 167 is in the books. Do you have anything to say before we go?
Good luck.
What about you?
Good luck.
All right, it was a bad week last week. It is what it is. Only one way to go, and that's up. That's why I said don't take any of my picks this week, but that'll be your loss. So y'all have a good one. Who dat?
The house always wins. Play long enough, you never change the stakes. The house takes you. Unless, when that perfect hand comes along, you bet big, and then you take the house. I've been practicing this, a little bit. Did I rush it? Felt like I rushed. It was good. I liked it.